Ooh, are you prepared to hear my advice of warning? Ooh, I'll take that as a yes. Come closer and listen very carefully. Dollar Tree paints suck. Ooh. Anyways, to clear things up, I don't use expensive paints. The type of acrylic paint I typically use are Apple Barrel and Folk Art, as well as similar brands, which cost about $50 at your local Walmart. These types of paints are quite good in my opinion, and I've made pretty good artworks with them, and that's why I haven't switched to using more expensive paints. I firmly believe that the type of materials you use shouldn't hinder your ability to paint, but I can make an exception for one brand of paints. Prang Tempera Paints. These paints are commonly found at the Dollar Tree, and they cost $1.25. Back then, when I didn't know much about acrylic painting, I foolishly bought these paints. The first time I used them, I didn't realize how bad they were. The same can be said for the second time, the third time, and so on and so forth. I don't know when the realization hit, but after it hit, I never used those paints for traditional painting ever again. Anyways, I'll be doing a test to show off how these paints suck and compare them to the paints that I usually use. The thing I'll be painting will be something simple. It'll be a cute ladybug. One page will be the painting with the Prang Tempera paints, while the other will be of the other brands that I use. The main problem with tempera paints is that they take several layers to fully paint something in. The paint is so thin and watered down. I'm not sure if the reason why the paint is like this is because it's washable, but I'd rather have paints that stain my clothes rather than paints that can't stain the paper. Although one could argue that the paint is meant to be used for simple arts and crafts or cheap kids activities, but the description of the paints states that it's perfect for students and budding artists. Versatile water-based tempera paints mix and blend with ease and provides high-quality results. A must-have for art classes, summer camps, daycare centers, and for resale. It was made for students and artists. The product itself states that. The crazy thing is that this paint is more expensive than the paint from Walmart. It's probably because of the size, but it should be way cheaper if the price was solely based on quality. When I first started putting on the paint, I already noticed that the Prang Tempera paint was a lot less thicker than the regular paint, and it was also taking longer to dry than the regular paint. Something else was that the colors didn't blend very smoothly, and the paint was tearing a bit. Then, in the end, we have a side-by-side of the two paintings. One of them is a bit more transparent and less saturated than the other. I will give the Prang Tempera paint props because I am surprised at how well the texture of the painting came out. It kind of looks similar to a watercolor type of painting in some kind of way. This kind of blew away my expectations a bit. I thought the paint was going to turn out horrible, but I like it a bit. So I guess I was wrong. Whoopsies. Although I don't like the paint enough to keep on using it though. In conclusion, I thought the Prang Tempera paint was going to be awful. But it's not that bad if the end result is how you want all of your paintings to look like. Although something to note is that this paint works best on paper since it can sink on the paper. But the same can't be said for canvases because the paint stays on top. With all of these tempera paints left, you might wonder, what am I going to do with them? Well, thankfully, I'm not going to throw them away because there is one way that I use these paints. But that's going to be for a future video. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a good day. Bye!